mates. You guys hear me? Sound okay? Good day, mateys. How's everybody doing? Got a little raw chicken, raw pastured chicken, raw liver and heart. Of course, my brains and eyeballs. How's everybody doing? What's up, Meat Man, Gregory, OG Reinhard? What's up, B? Am I afraid of coronavirus? Definitely not. Viruses aren't even transmutable between humans or animals. Why would I be afraid of a virus, right? What's up, Maven Taylor and Gregory? What's up, Haleman? Jonathan Pernice. Yeah, Mike B and Rotten Meat Jar exposed me. Exposed. Bunch of gammas. No gammas allowed. Thought I made myself clear many months ago. Apparently we still need to see some heads roll. What's up, Chicken Jar? Get ready to slay some gammas, buddy. Because they are flocking. Yeah, dude. I just bury myself in a bunker in the ground all day long, hiding from Corona. Wrap myself in tin foil. Just hide from the world. No gamma zone, for sure. You will get banned from my channel so quick. This is some good pastured chicken here. Oh yeah. Yeah, gammas flock together and gammas hate Giga Chads, for sure. I know, I need to hang up a no gamma sign, for sure. That's still not going to stop them. The internet chat rooms are like, it's like a magnet for gamma males. I don't know what it is. But Owen, Benjamin, and Box Day are the ones that taught me how to deal with gammas correctly. You don't engage them. Don't debate them. You just ban them. Ban them. And I do have a couple. I actually have an interesting video and an article. We'll do the article first, and then a video. This was one of these was sent to me on Instagram, and then the other one was emailed to me by a subscriber. And the first one's not nutrition related. It's actually about circumcision, but it's really interesting, man. It's like something that a lot of people should become aware of, you know? There's all these like movements about, you know, black people's rights and women's rights and gay people's rights. Well, what about baby males that get their penises chopped off the first second that they're born? What about that one? So there's a lot of guys that are basically waking up to this whole thing, and they're looking down at their ding dong and they're going, this thing looks incomplete. You know what I mean? Like there's something missing here. And it doesn't seem right. It seems a little weird. So check this article out, man. This is on Circumcision's psychological damage. CDC wants all males to be cut, but it's harmful psychologically. As psychologists, we are deeply concerned with the recent announced CDC guidelines promoting circumcision for all males, and in particular children. This new CDC guidelines highlight methodologically flawed studies from Africa that have no relevance to the United States. They chose to ignore studies that were conducted in the United States and show no link between circumcision and the risk of sexually transmitted disease, including HIV. Worse, the CDC has completely ignored the psychological effects of genital cutting on male children. This article outlines the psychological research that demonstrates the relationship between circumcision and psychological harm. The authors, along with other psychologists, have appealed to the CDC and Congress to reevaluate this policy in light of the psychological harm it will cause infants, children, and teens. Psychological effects on infants. Circumcision causes immediate harm. Circumcision is often performed on infants without anesthetic or with a local anesthetic that is ineffective at substantially reducing pain. In a study by Landert and colleagues in 1997, A control group of infants who received no anesthesia was used as a baseline to measure the effectiveness of different types of anesthesia during circumcision. The control group babies were in so much pain, some began choking and one even had a seizure. They decided it was unethical to continue. It is important to also consider the effects of post-operative pain in circumcised infants, regardless of whether anesthesia is used, which is described as severe and persistent. In addition to pain, there are other negative physical outcomes, including possible infection and death. Pain from circumcision in infancy alters the brain. Research has demonstrated the hormone cortisol, which is associated with stress and pain, spikes during circumcision. Although some believe that babies won't remember the pain, we know now that the body remembers, as evidenced by studies which demonstrate that circumcised infants are more sensitive to pain later in life. Research carried out using neonatal animals as a proxy to study the effects of pain on infants' psychological development have found distinct behavioral patterns characterized by increased anxiety, altered pain sensitivity, hyperactivity, and attention problems. In another similar study, it was found that painful procedures in the neonatal period were associated with site-specific changes in the brain that have been found to be associated with mood disorders. Infant circumcision has psychological consequences for men. Over the last decade, there has been a movement of men who were circumcised as infants and have articulated their anger and sadness over having their genitals modified without their consent. Goldman notes that shame and denial is one major factor that limits the number of men who publicly express this belief. Studies of men who were circumcised in infancy have found that some men experienced symptoms of PTSD, depression, anger, and intimacy problems that were directly associated with feelings about their circumcision. Medical procedures in childhood are often experienced as traumatic. The CDC fails to consider that many medical procedures, even those that are described as routine, are often experienced as traumatic by children and adolescents. Circumcision, for example, clearly meets the clinical definition of trauma because it involves a violation of physical integrity. In fact, research has demonstrated that medical traumas in childhood and adolescence share many of the same psychological elements of childhood abuse, such as physical pain, fear, loss of control, and the perception that the event is a form of punishment. Procedures involving children's genitals produce negative psychological effects. The psychological consequence of medical procedures are often greater when they involve a child's genitals. Studies have examined the psychological effects of medical photography on the genitals. Repeated genital examinations, colposcopy, cystoscopy, and catheterization, avoiding cystoscopy and hypospadias repair. The studies found that these procedures often produce symptoms that are very similar to those of childhood sexual abuse, including disassociation and the development of a negative body image. The effect often persists into adulthood, as evidenced by a study that examined the effect of childhood penile surgery for hypospadias. Men who had the surgery in childhood experienced more depressive symptoms, anxiety, and interpersonal difficulties than men who did not have the surgery. Circumcision causes significant psychological harm in children and adolescents. Circumcision in childhood and adolescence has significant negative psychological consequences. Following a traumatic event, many children experience anxiety, depression, and anger, and many others try to avoid and suppress these painful feelings. In addition, children often experience a debilitating loss of control that negatively affects their ability to regulate emotions and make sense of the traumatic experience. In a study of adults circumcised in childhood, Hammond found that many men conceptualize their circumcision experience as an act of violence, mutilation, or sexual assault. Kennedy detailed the psychological effects of circumcision in a case study describing the psychotherapy of a boy who was circumcised at 3 years of age. The sense of inadequacy, feelings of victimization, and violent sexual fantasies experienced during this boy's adolescence were found to be both consciously and unconsciously linked to his experience with losing part of his penis. In a study examining the psychological effects of circumcision on boys between 4 and 7, Cansever used psychological testing to measure boys' level of distress. The results of the study indicated that circumcision was perceived as an aggressive attack on the body that left children feeling damaged and mutilated. Cansever also noted that these boys experienced changes in body image, with many feeling smaller and incomplete, feelings of inadequacy and helplessness, as well as tendency to withdraw psychologically. The majority of boys circumcised as children and adolescents meet diagnostic criteria for post-traumatic stress disorder. I think you guys get the point. Yeah, medical professionals are shaming boys' bodies by encouraging circumcision. It's wild, man. This stuff is extremely disturbing if you were to take it out of the context of something that's done every day to babies. If you were just to say, like, there's some weird culture that lives on an island that cuts off the baby's penis partially when they're born, it's really strange, man. So don't circumcise your kids. I thought this was a very interesting article. And then also I have a video of Owen Benjamin that was sent to me. And this is pretty funny.
Owen, you once asked why people choose veganism. Here are the reasons for me. Animals are higher creations than plants. Animals are beautiful. Never seen an oak tree, have you? Animals feel pain. So do trees. You cannot remove parts from an animal without killing it or maiming it, but you can in the case of plants. No, you can. So you never cut your hair? You never cut your guys, vegans are totally fucked mentally. So you can harvest your hair. Do you get maimed every time you shave your head? Animals are higher creations than plants, according to who? So you think a redwood or a sequoia tree is a lower creation than a ladybug? I mean, animals are beautiful, so are plants. Animals feel pain. So, okay. Animal flesh putrefies in the intestines. Well, there's many plants that kill you dead if you eat them. There's mushrooms that you'll be dead within 5 minutes if you ingest them. Eating fruits can help ecosystems through the passage of a seed. What? I know what you're saying, but that's retarded. Animal husbandry, how often do you shit outside? Never? Okay, so you're lying to yourself. Animal husbandry requires far more energy and resources. No, it doesn't. I cannot use the fact that animals kill and eat other animals to justify eating animal flesh because animals have adopted predator and scavenger traits in order to rectify imbalances caused by human error. This is retarded. You think animals hunt because of human error? Do you think if it wasn't for humans, a wolf would eat berries? Dude, vegans might be the dumbest people in the entire world. A whole food plant-based diet leads to health. Well, it also leads to mental retardation. All right.
Oh, did I not switch that over? Sorry. At least you guys heard it, right? Sorry, I meant to play that for you, but... Yeah, I watch Owen's streams now again. Yeah, I got a little bit turned off by him when he started getting into the health stuff because he was like drinking turpentine and all this weird shit. But I knew he would kind of come around again. And honestly, man, I'm just like a lot of my like favorite comedians I can't watch anymore. Like Chris D'Elia, can't watch him anymore because he's like supporting Black Lives Matter and all this like crazy bullshit. And so I had to drop him off of my Instagram and like YouTube channels and stuff. So I don't have any really like funny comedians to watch anymore. And so Owen's like the only one that speaks the truth, man. He's like one of the only ones. There's like Owen, and there's Gavin McInnes, and Nick DiPaolo. Everybody else, man, kind of full of shit, you know. Yeah, it's a letter. My bad. I was trying to switch over the video, but I don't think you guys saw the video of that. But yeah, it's a letter he got written from. Here, I'll play it again. My bad. I'll play it again.
Than bellies. All right. But I also just don't want to be a fat Tina because I don't want to be slaughtered as a meat bird. Owen, you once asked why people choose veganism. Here are the reasons for me. Animals are higher creations than plants. Animals are beautiful. Never seen an oak tree, have you? Animals feel pain. So do trees. You cannot remove parts from an animal without killing it or maiming it, but you can in the case of plants. No, you can. So you never cut your hair? You never cut your guys, vegans are totally fucked mentally. So you can harvest your hair. Do you get maimed every time you shave your head? Animals are higher creations than plants, according to who? So you think a redwood or a sequoia tree is a lower creation than a ladybug? I mean, animals are beautiful, so are plants. Animals feel pain. So, okay. Animal flesh putrefies in the intestines. Well, there's many plants that kill you dead if you eat them. There's mushrooms that you'll be dead within 5 minutes if you ingest them. Eating fruits can help ecosystems through the passage of a seed. What? I know what you're saying, but that's retarded. Animal husbandry, how often do you shit outside? Never? Okay, so you're lying to yourself. Animal husbandry requires far more energy and resources. No, it doesn't. I cannot use the fact that animals kill and eat other animals to justify eating animal flesh because animals have adopted predator and scavenger traits in order to rectify imbalances caused by human error. This is retarded. You think animals hunt because of human error? Do you think if it wasn't for humans, a wolf would eat berries? Dude, vegans might be the dumbest people in the entire world. A whole food, plant-based diet leads to health. Well, it also leads to mental retardation.
There you go. Vegan logic for you there, fellas. Vegan logic. I gotta get the chat box rolling here. Yeah, I know what you mean, Sylphwave. I kind of go back and forth on Owen's streams, but I do really enjoy some of the stuff that he talks about because he's really enlightening on a lot of stuff, man. Like he's like he enlightened me on the fact that like when these Black Lives Matter people have these like white women kneeling down to them, that's actually fetishizing black men. So secretly, like white women actually fetishize black men. It's like really interesting, deeply psychological shit, man. Like, and they've been doing that for a long time. And it's actually hating them. It's not loving them. It's hating them. So, I don't know. It's Owen really his brain works in a different way than mine. He's more like artistic. I'm more logical, rational minded. He's more like artistic in a way. And so his mind kind of like thinks of these abstract concepts. My brain sometimes doesn't see right away. He's also been in Hollywood for a long time, so he was opened up to a lot of like evil and truths and stuff. Out of the land says Owen's still slurping the coffee like it's going out of fashion. Yeah, but I think he mixes it half with goat milk, which is actually sounds like really good. Like a half cup of coffee and a half cup of goat milk together. It sounds pretty legit. A liberal autist says, just don't treat Owen like a guru and enjoy him for what he does well. That's exactly what it is, yeah. Because a lot of people are like calling him like a prophet now, which is like super cringy. Like, you're a prophet, bro. And he's like, I'm not a prophet. He's like, I'm just like a highly intelligent dude that like sees things that most people don't see. You know what I mean? This light is freaking bright. So, yeah, it gets a little cringy, dude, when you have these kind of like low IQ dudes looking up to him like he's some kind of like wizard. Yeah, I've been drinking some black tea lately. Every time it comes to spring and summertime, I make a little pot of sun tea every day. So I drink like quite a bit of black tea nowadays. It's good stuff. Some good chicken, man. This pastured chicken, so good. Like sushi grade fish, man. What's up, Brandon Johnson? Smash the like button. Yes, please, if you guys could. Be much appreciated. Got some chicken liver here, too. It's been really hot here lately, man. Like 96 degrees every day. It's been scorching. Orange juice with sparkling water. Dang, that sounds good. I don't know if I would drink like store-bought orange juice, but I've thought about squeezing my own. I just like eating just an orange too. Orange is my favorite, man. Yeah, I like the smash button. It says raw meat. What's up, Shelly? You got 50 goat brains yesterday? Nice. You're going to be dreaming like crazy. What's up, Wolf Shange? Yeah, those vegan, what I eat in a day, those are crazy. It's just like a bowl of slop. Veganism is the result of trauma. That makes a lot of sense. Cole Slice says, I got circumcised as a newborn. No use getting stressed out over it and causing more psychological harm to myself. Yeah, I know what you mean, but it's still like it still seems like there's something missing. You know what I mean? It's like having like a piece of your finger chopped off or something. There's just like a weird like background thing that's always going on where like every time you look at, you know, whatever's missing, you're like, that doesn't look right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, circumcision is disgusting, man. Evil Reflection says, something I've realized about gammas is they're all midgets. Trump is a tall, strong alpha. Eat it, gammas. Exactly, man. Gammas are all tiny. Tiny little angry little men. Cole Slice says, I think gammas are attracted to chat rooms because they have the ability to sow doubt and influence people without needing to do the legwork to gather an audience. No negative repercussions either. Yeah, it's that, and it's they're fundamentally low status men, so they have no actual like role in the hierarchy of men. So they don't have like any sort of power or influence in their normal everyday life. And so when they come to a chat room, yeah, they basically have like this like audience that they've never had before, and people have to read their comments, and like it's very interesting. And plus they have a way to like attack the Chad, you know what I mean? Because gammas see like Chads like me as like some sort of enemy to them or whatever, because I have a higher status than them that was just given to me by God, you know what I mean? And it's nothing that they can do about it, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's just the way it is, and they hate that. And so they look at it as it's an opportunity to like get back at the Chad, but you can't offend me like through a chat log, you know what I mean? Especially when I already know like how gay most of these gammas are, you know what I mean? It's like I've been dealing with this for like way too long. There's nothing that they can. Gregory says, Wes, have you heard about foreskin restoration? I have not, man. That sounds interesting though. Sylphwave says, I remember Owen ranting at the carnivore diet back in September when he was on a crusade against the Petersons. Yeah, and he's right though, man. Carnivore diet's gay. It's gay, dude. It's for a bunch of people that, I mean, if you want to heal your gut, that's fine. But to be like, to go around and tell everybody, like, I'm on the carnivore diet. Like, my channel was named Carnivore Life. Like, I was part of that group, man. But I grew out of it. I saw how ridiculous it was. And I saw how fruit and berries and stuff are like a perfectly normal part of your diet. And if you want to eat some nuts or like, eat like a potato every once in a while, like who gives a shit? Yeah, the carnivore thing is really weird, dude. It's about as dumb as the vegan thing. It's just slightly more healthier, but just eating like cooked ribeyes all day long or something like that it's stupid. It's a way to seem like badass. Like, I'm badass, bro. I'm a carnivore. It's weird. It's like people seeking identity. It's gammas. A lot of gammas are doing it. So yeah, I didn't really agree with him back then when he was slamming the carnivore thing. But now that I've seen how it's a false binary, it was basically like a result to veganism. You know what I mean? Carnivore was created as a backlash to veganism, and they're both on too far on the end of the spectrum. You know what I mean? Humans are definitely supposed to eat like a little bit of fruit and stuff like that. So now being on like a meat heavy diet, go for it. But to go around and just like call yourself a carnivore, like, I'm a carnivore, bro. It's the gayest thing I've ever heard. Wolfshan says, Wes, have you eaten guts or rumen? No, but I've had lamb guts. I just threw them out in my yard. I should have eaten them. What's rumen? Zone Attack says, Chads are under attack these days. Oh yeah, to finish my point. So chat rooms are a way for gammas to to attack Chads without getting their ass kicked. You know what I mean? Because no gamma would ever say anything to my face in real life because I would probably beat the shit out of them. You know what I mean? So there's no way that they would ever do anything like that to me in real life because they'd be scared shitless of me. Because I would just tower over them and just intimidate them until they just shut their mouth. You know what I mean? But, not to come across like a violent person, but anytime if someone's gonna try to intimidate me or poke fun at me or like get under my skin or whatever, like, you better be ready to fight me. And you have this like barrier between the internet and chat rooms where gammas can just like send their little comments and try to get under your skin without getting punched in the face. It's really cheap shot shit, you know what I mean? It's like, and I would tell you to come here and like say it to my face, but I'm not going to give my address out and get doxxed by the internet. So there's really like, the internet is like built against Chads, basically. It's built for the gammas because it was built by gammas, like Bill Gates. So the whole internet is skewed. It's like swayed in the way that like nerds have more power. So that's why people like me have to like fight to like get my message out to people and stuff like that, because the whole algorithm and everybody in YouTube is like against people like me, like speaking the truth, being fearless about it, not giving a shit what people say to me, speaking the truth regardless of the consequences. Like, that's the type of person I am, and this whole built against it, The stomach is the rumen. Gotcha. I have not had stomach yet. What's up, old fat bastard? Yeah, it's like 96 here too, man. It's been 96, 95 degrees for like 7 days in a row. It's crazy. Crazy heat wave, man. It's good though. I love the sun. Just look at what bears, wolves, crows, and vultures eat. Meat, eggs, milk, and fruit. Exactly. No, I don't like fighting at all. I've never been a fighter because I'm a smart guy and I like to protect myself physically. You know what I mean? But people don't ever mess with me in real life. Like, nobody ever messes with me. I'm never the type of guy that gets like fucked with by people or anything like that. So that's why when I see it happen on here on the internet, I just laugh at it because I'm like, this isn't real life. This would never happen in real life. You know what I mean? Chad lives matter. Exactly. Mm. This guy's still mad about getting exposed. Plant lives matter, exactly. Coleslaw says, I'm from Louisiana and we would eat dirty rice often. My rice mixed with duck or chicken, giblets, and some herbs. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of ice, man. True words. The internet was built for nerds and by nerds. Exactly. So they could watch their little pornos. Because they can't get girlfriends. OG Reinhardt just had steaks and potatoes with the family. Was craving potatoes for a minute. And wow, does my stomach feel heavy. Interesting. Yeah, potatoes don't do that to me. I get like a nice energy from the complex carbs. But good. Chadnet with cam identification technology. Wolf Shan says, don't bears eat tons of honey and then pass out, lol. Yeah, I think at least I see that on cartoons. Sure, it's not just on a Winnie the Pooh. Old fat bastard, what's your opinion on the exogenous ketones powder crap they are selling now? I tried it and gives a great energy boost and I've been in ketosis perfectly. I haven't looked into that too much. I know supplements are usually all kind of bullshit. I wouldn't trust it, man, because everything in this world is a scam. You know? Call the company, ask them what it's made of, how they make it exactly, if there's no toxic byproducts in it, you know? I'm not sure what to make of ketosis either, you know what I mean? Because it's like, yeah, it feels good, but you know what also feels good is having a little bit of carbs too, you know? So I'm not sure what to make of that. Are there gamma women too? Well, there's women that share behavior traits with gamma males, but they're not necessarily gamma women, like low status women, because women don't hierarchy themselves in the way that men do. So it's not necessarily called a gamma female, you know, at least that I'm aware of. Women don't structure themselves inside of a hierarchy like the male social sexual hierarchy. It's only for men, basically. Whale meat sounds good. Also, yeah, like seal blubber. That sounds good, chicken jar. Maven Taylor, do you ever feel so happy that others think you are crazy? Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, definitely. I have like so much peace in my life right now that like, you know, it's just, yeah, I know what you mean. I don't think other people think I'm crazy, but I'm really free right now. I'm very like much a free spirit, and I think that might look crazy to some people. You know what I mean? Because I'm not living like a typical life of someone my age, like at all, like not even close. So to other people my age that have like, you know, they're all settled down with like doing like the typical 9 to 5 house dad type life. You know what I mean? Whereas I could never live like that, like the suburban 9 to 5 house dad life. I could never live like that, man. I would have to get like a homestead, start a little family there, stuff like that. That probably looks crazy to people. Eating raw meat, I know to a lot of people probably looks a little crazy. But they just don't get it. And I don't expect them to get it, man, because when I first tried this stuff, it was kind of gross. You know what I mean? And now I'm like completely desensitized to it. Now I can eat brains and eyeballs and chicken hearts and just whatever you give me, man. I can drink blood pretty much without gagging. Every once in a while I gag, sometimes on frozen brains because it changes the taste a little bit. Sometimes frozen brains will make me want to gag just a little bit. And then, but other than that, I don't blame other people for judging. Whale fat sounds godly for sure. Whale fat and seal blubber, dude, give me some of that. Dolores Del Año, what traits make a man high? It's more of just like behaviors, general behaviors, very dominant, generally high testosterone, very successful with women, like extremely successful with women, very ambitious, physically dominant. Fearless, courageous, typical alpha male leader. You don't like raw butter? That's crazy. This guy I work with doesn't like raw butter either. I thought that was weird. Wasn't a fan of the smell and taste of raw milk. Interesting. Docile sheep, which fish isn't farm raised? You got to get the wild caught stuff. Let's all move to Greenland and hunt whales, get off the internet. Got to be a doer. Do. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Alpha males are generally very rational, logical minded thinkers. Non-emotional people. Maven says, yeah, it's not that they see your happiness and see crazy. It's just unusual in these times to have peace, and people are drawn to that energy. This diet is amazing. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, people are going nuts nowadays, and I'm just over here just eating eyeballs and brains, just having the time of my life. Gotta be careful with this. There it is. Squirted eyeball juice everywhere. Did you see that? How many guns do you have? Oh, I have a couple self-defense weapons. Temporary alpha males are pretty much genetically determined. Yeah, it's a lot of it's genetic because a lot of it has to do with physical dominance as well. It's a lot harder to be an alpha male when you're like a smaller dude, because an alpha male that's bigger and stronger than you is basically just gonna beat your ass and take your position, because that's how the world works, man. A lot of times, Gavin McInnes says it the best, man. Fighting solves everything. And I know some people disagree with that. Like, fighting is kind of ridiculous when it comes to all matters. But when it comes down to, like, alpha males, like, settling their differences, sometimes a fight is the only way it's going to happen, So that's why it's a lot easier for physically dominant alpha males to rise to the top of the hierarchy, because they can just physically intimidate the smaller men into falling into submission, Does this diet raise testosterone a lot? Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah. If you look at like my older pictures, like on Instagram and stuff like that, I definitely look a little soyed out, a little soy face. Definitely looking a little more beastie nowadays, especially when I eat balls. Domination raises testosterone. Yes, sir. Can raw primal heal broken or fractured bones? A lot of calcium will, for sure. Read We Want to Live. I think he's got some stuff in there about broken bones. Brains. I ate 2 brains yesterday just to see if my dreams would be like doubly enhanced, and it pretty much worked, man. My dreams last night were insane. I was even experiencing some like new things in my dreams that I never experienced before, which is like extreme emotions, you know, like really like feelings of bliss and happiness and stuff. Very trippy stuff, man. These brains are unbelievable for dreams. Love it. That's why I eat them every day. Even frozen. I wasn't sure if the frozen brains would have the same effects, but they do. Good stuff. Dolores says, what if the small dude pulls out a gun? What if he shoots the bigger guy and it doesn't do anything? Native Americans used to get shot with bullets because they were, and nothing would happen to them. Native Americans were so physically dominant and strong people that they would get shot with bullets and it was like nothing even happened. Think about that. That's alpha. Read the book Gospel of the Red Man. Can you eat store-bought meat and eggs? If it's all you can get, man, it's all you can get. But just keep in mind you're introducing hormones and a little bit of soy into your life. But just try to get on farm foods as best you can. Guys, there's farms everywhere. Like if you just get outside the city a little bit, there's farms all over the place. You're too stuck on the internet and stuff. And you're too stuck on supermarket food. You just got to get out there. Go drive around a little bit. You'll see cows. Go knock on farmhouses. Ask them where the food is. You know, they'll help you out. O.G. Reinhardt, I tried my high meat for the first time and it increased my senses tremendously for about 10 minutes. Then I came down and my head felt hollow, bad migraine. Could this be detox? Probably. Yeah. What's up, Ricky? Howdy. Howdy there, cowgirl. Yeah, I'm guessing that's probably detox, for sure. Maven says I'm doing a lot of calisthenics to put on muscle weight. Any tips in that area? I use weights. I found weights to be a lot more beneficial in putting on muscle. But I would just say keep doing what you're doing. You know, it depends on what your objective is, your final objective. But I would suggest if you want to put on muscle weight, do like explosive exercises like bench press, squats, and deadlifts, which is what I mostly do. That's going to be your most testosterone producing exercises. And then also it doesn't hurt to eat some brains, get some human growth hormone. Haleman says, good thing you mentioned you can still eat them frozen. These brains gave me insane emotional dreams. That's what happened to me, dude. Now, I was hoping it wasn't just the fresh ones, because every once in a while I get a batch of frozen heads, like this week. Are the frozen brains exactly like the fresh effect-wise? Pretty much. Yeah, that's what I noticed. Yep. Really no big difference. It seems like all of the hormones and neurotransmitters and stuff in the brains, even though they're frozen, they're still somehow preserved. Chicken jar system out of brains and eyeballs. I guess heart and lungs is today. There you go. Nose to tail, buddies. Nose to tail, as they say. Chicken jar says find a farmer on Craigslist. Yeah, that's a great tip, guys. Find a farmer on Craigslist. I never knew this. Chicken jar mentioned it to me the other day, and I got on Craigslist. I found like 7 new grass-fed farmers around me. Like 7 of them. All around my area. They're all on Craigslist, guys. Get on Craigslist. Get your food. You can even find milk on Craigslist. So yeah, check eatwild.com, check realmilk.com, check Craigslist, and just do like a simple internet search, grass-fed meat, type your city in, and you'll find it all over the place, man. Yeah, sprints are good for testosterone. Thoughts on 36 eggs a day cycle? It sounds like a good idea. You're supposed to quit meat 2 times a week. According to Aajonus, it's good to like reset your system and get on some other stuff. I was thinking about doing that with just eggs and cheese. I ate like 30 eggs one day. It was pretty cool. Cryo, what were the first raw foods you started eating or to get back into it? It was like raw steaks, ribeyes, chuck roast. What else did I eat? A little bit of raw milk, raw eggs. Chicken jar. Anyone know how often I should air high meat that's outside? I just like to do it every like 3 days just to be safe, because it also helps it ferment a little bit quicker. I got a bunch of massive high meat jars going, guys. I'm gonna go grab them real quick. You guys always want me to get me to start eating high meat. So these ones are a month old. You can see the color. The color's more like a darker. This one's like 6 months old. See how it's like a lighter tan? This is what liver looks like, I believe, when it's like perfect. It gets that light kind of brownish. This is about a month old. But I got 2 of these going, man. I got so much liver in here. This is all grass-fed, hormone-free. Ooh, there's a fly in there. What are you doing in there, buddy? There's a fly just sitting on top. That's hilarious. He's alive. Holy shit. What are you doing, buddy? You want to come out? Look at that. There's a little fly in my jar. That's hilarious, dude. Maybe he left me a little surprise, huh? This smells... It's fermented, but it's not quite where I like it. It's getting close, though. It's about a month. I like to let my stuff go about 2 months, at least. So I'm going to let that go a little bit longer. That should be ready about a month. I got some tongue and some lamb liver going as well. The tongue is the weirdest stuff I've ever fermented. Yeah, I should have ate that fly, you're right. What did I eat the other day? I ate a grub the other day out of the ground. One of those little white grubs in the soil. I ate that thing. It was nothing. It's pretty good. This stuff, my friends, this stuff is ready. This stuff is so ready. That's when you know, when your high meat gets to about like that, that's when you know it's ready. Your high liver. It's got that little spice to it. I'm just torturing my dogs right now. I know what you want, don't you? You want a little bit of this, don't you? I I should cut this in half for my dogs. My dogs love this stuff. You want some high meat? You want some high meat? Huh? Come here. Come here. Right here. Get it. These guys love this stuff, man. I give them goat heads all the time. I go through about 3 goat heads a week, cut in half, so it's actually 6 heads. Half heads, and I throw them in my garden, and they ferment outside, and they dry age for like a week in the sun, and then my dogs eat them when they get all crusty and like full of maggots. It's crazy, dude. These guys love rotten food. Hey, no, that's for you, bud. No, that's for you. There you go. These guys are spoiled, man. This is like a delicacy. Battle Lance, I wish that footage of Derek Nance eating the maggot-infested meat was on YouTube. The meat is black as hell and swarming with maggots. That's crazy. Yeah, maggots are nothing, dude. Like, these guys bring rotten goat heads in from my garden into my living room, and they eat them on my rug. And the other day, I looked down at my rug, and there was maggots all over my freaking rug, man. I would have like freaked out before, and now I just picked them up and threw them in the toilet. But then I ate that grub, which is like a giant maggot, basically. And so, like, if I can eat a grub, I could definitely eat maggots. That's nothing, dude. Brains and balls diet's where it's at, dude. Yeah, it seems to be the same frozen, for sure. I'll check back with you on the frozen balls, though, because I know the brains are the same frozen. I don't think frozen damages the food as much as, like, you think it does, according to Aajonus. It does damage it slightly, but I don't think it, like, completely, like, ruins it. You know what I mean? It's better than nothing, man. But fresh is obviously the way to go. Stuff is good. You guys can see me get high on live stream here. Very, very spicy. It's so spicy it almost burns. It almost burns your throat on the way down. It's like a horseradish, like a spicy horseradish. Apparently rotten meat was a delicacy among European aristocrats. Oh yeah, aristocracies. This stuff is absolutely a delicacy, man. It's one of like the most just unique tasting things you could ever eat. And it's like the effects you get from it are basically like drugs. It's like an instant depression reliever for sure. I could see how having like a high meat party would be like really fun, because everybody would be in such a great mood, you know? Yeah, frozen liver works. Yeah, fermented frozen liver. Dogs do know the natural diet, exactly. They're not like the brainwashed masses. I'm buying 1.5 kilos of raw meat on the 20th of June. What is the way too much to eat in one sitting? Or which is way too much? How can I preserve it and eat it raw the next couple days? You can always get like a rack, like get like a cookie drying rack or something like that, and put it in your fridge, and then you can just lay it on there. You know what I Or you can put it in jars if you want, but I think dry aging is the way to go. Rotten meat all the way. Yeah, that's right, rotten meat jar. Eat Raw Meat says Wes gonna release the Brains and Balls diet ebook soon. We're all gonna be on the testimonial page. Hey man, that's not a bad idea. Brains and Balls. I've been thinking about some like ebooks or like something like that, so stay tuned for that, guys. Stay tuned for something like that in the future, because obviously this channel is not going to be the end of my creative expression. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to do something different, or try to advance this into something that can reach some more people, you know? Because YouTube just shadow bans the hell out of me. So I gotta find a way to get on like Amazon or something like that. And I think the best way to do that would be like writing a book. And I'm not gonna give my ideas away, but I have like a really good idea for a book, man. And there is no other books like this on Amazon. And I think you guys would really like this shit. So I need to start working on that. And it would actually be fairly simple. And I don't know exactly the rules though on writing books and like giving out medical advice and stuff like that. So I got to look into that legal stuff. I don't want to. I guess I got to be clear. I'm not giving out medical advice. But yeah, I wish I could tell you this idea for this book right now, but I don't want someone to steal my idea. But it's a damn good idea, man. And nobody's done it yet. Can I get a quick rundown on the high meat? How do you make it? So you just chop it up into a jar, fill it up about halfway, and then put a lid on it. Plastic lid. Don't use metal because metal interferes with the fermentation. It'll interact with it chemically. And just throw it in your cupboard and air it out every 3 days. Pull the jar off, set it on the counter, let it sit there for an hour, put it back on, put it back in for 3 more days. You can wait 5 days, 3 days, 5 days. Some people wait longer than that, but I like to go every 3 to 5 days because it ferments it more quickly. The bacteria goes through specific fermentation stages and advances into different stages of bacterial growth. It's basically what you do, man. You can ferment pretty much anything. Gregory says, do you think we're attracted to high meat because of hunting and gathering? Something. Yeah, there's something to it, definitely. I think we're attracted to it because of the fermentation properties, the bacterial properties. It's like a vegan juicing party, except without the hysteria, exactly. Could you imagine eating pounds of high meat in one sitting? I would like to try that, for sure. Aajonus said he had some guy that had like all sorts of psychological problems, and he started eating he started fermenting all of his meat. He ate like pounds of high meat every day. And he had like a bunch of girlfriends all of a sudden. It was like a really social, like joking around type of guy. So that got me really intrigued into this stuff, man. That it could like potentially, it could change your personality for the better, you know, because you're inoculating your system with so much bacteria that it like boosts your neurotransmitters and stuff. Is it right to reuse the jar from a previous batch of high meat to start another, or should it be clean? It's a good question. You should be okay using the previous jar. You should be fine. OG Reinhardt, would swapping or combining the liquids and high meat in jars in one jar make it extra high, like one big pool of diverse bacteria, super high balls? Yeah, that's what I do. Is like when I get like a new batch of liver, right? Like this one had been fermenting for about 3-4 months, and so I took like a little piece of this liver and I threw it inside here, and I've done that before and that works. Or what I do is I stir this. When I air it out, I stir it and then I put the fork in there, so it brings some bacteria into it. Oh yeah, I forgot my eggs too. Sorry guys, I gotta go grab my eggs. Came ill prepared. Forget my eggs, man. Do you need organ meat to do high meat, or you can do it with muscle meat? You can do it with muscle meat, but I did it one time. I don't even think I ended up eating it. I can't remember what I did with it. Liver supposedly is the best, so I would try it with organ meat first, just because it's the best. It's like the best way to do it. But you can ferment whatever you want, you know. Is it possible for it to be alpha at 5'2"? I'm sure it's possible, but it's going to be extremely difficult for you. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, normally people just laugh at a dude that's that short. Let's be honest. Sorry, 5'2" guys. That's pretty freaking short for a guy. You know what I mean? So, you're going to have to really, really compensate for it in other areas. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to be, like, extremely, like, outgoing, charming, and, you know, confident, logical, rational-minded, not angry at all, you know what I mean? Which is really hard for a lot of short guys, because a lot of short guys are like pissed off all the time. So part of being alpha is not being angry, being pissed off. Very low cortisol, very low stress hormones. And that's just not something you typically see in like 5'2" guys, you know what I mean? You don't see that combination. So it's possible, but it's very, very rare. High meat is the cure for depression, absolutely. Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he got ripped off of raw milk, and now he's like promoting veganism. It's such a scam, dude. Scams on scams. Buy a huge truck. Exactly. Buy a huge truck if you're 5'2". Hopefully you gotta. Never mind. I'm not gonna go there. Yeah, you could move to Asia. That's a good idea, John Trim. If you're 5'2", move to Asia for sure. Because white people, I guess, I've been told this by people from different countries, that white people are like white men are treasured over there, so you'd have a lot better chance with the women. Arnold is a total shill, dude. Those guys are all freaking frauds, man. Like, they make billions of dollars, like, scamming you with their charm, and then they just flip on you and start selling you a bunch of horse shit later on. It's crazy. Well, the thing is like being alpha and stuff like that is also, it's fractal. So you could be alpha in this nucleus of friends that you have, but once you get like outside of that nucleus of friends, you're not alpha anymore in this group of people at work. So like you could be alpha with your friends here, but then you go to work and you're in this hierarchy and you're no longer at the top. You're not alpha anymore. So it's sort of this fractal, and it changes depending on who you're around and stuff like that. But for the most part, your traits are genuinely consistent wherever you go. But it can kind of shift slightly, you know. You can go from like alpha to beta if you need to. If like you're confronted by a bigger, stronger, better alpha. I mean, that's just the way the world works, man. What's up, Martin O'Donnell? Yeah, Arnold's a disappointment, dude. He's a people pleaser. He's an appeaser. That's what you get when you get into Hollywood, man. You become an appeaser. Arnold has dementia and plays with the donkeys. Which movie was that? That's a good one. That should be his next movie title. Arnold has dementia and plays with the donkeys. Arnold just losing his mind. Fat of the Land says if you're 5'2", do roids and pump iron like Toe Rogan. Yeah, and create a podcast full of shills. I think Arnold is getting scammed. He looks like death on that vegan diet. He's the worst, dude. Let's watch some videos of Arnold the Shill.
I don't think Bob will be a total vegan. I don't think that I ever will be a total vegan. I stress to eat less meat, but not to eat no meat. I eat meat much less than I ever did before. I eat maybe 2 times a week meat. I eat chicken, I eat fish, I eat much more fish products than I ever did before, and green. I mean, I love vegetables and salads and all this. I think it's very healthy for our body. And I think when you get older, especially, you have to cut down on all of those things. And then also from an environmental point of view, we know that raising livestock creates 28% of our...
You know what I think it is? You know what I think these guys do? Is they blow out their kidneys on doing a bunch of drugs and steroids and all these like performance enhancing drugs. And so their kidneys can't filter out the proteins from the meat as well. And so that's why they have to go on these veggie diets, because their kidneys got blown out from doing drugs.
Greenhouse gases in the world. So if you're into any of that, then it means a lot to you to go and cut down, because we have to reduce our greenhouse gases, because we are killing 7 million people a year because of our pollution. We can do better than that, and each and every one of us has the power to cut down on the consumption of meat eating, or if it is driving cars that use a lot of gasoline. We got to get all fossil fuels. We got to get into renewable.
Get the fossil fuels.
So I mean, that you don't have to be into that.
My name is Arnold, and I go vegan.
We all should work together to reduce our
pollution. Go vegan
because we kill less people, and I think this is a very important issue.
Sure, buddy. Sure, Arnie. H the human. OG Reinhardt says, "Oh, good point. Never thought of that." Oh, dude, I thought of that like a couple years ago when I looked at all these vegans, and I was like, "What? Like, what are they fueling their body on, right?" They seem to have all this energy, and it's all really erratic and like irrational and shit like that. And like, these guys are on freaking drugs, man. So I think these vegans, like a lot of celebrity vegans and stuff, they go on a vegetable diet because they're on so many drugs, like illegal and legal and stuff like that, that their kidneys are fucked up. And so they can't process all the proteins from the meat. You ever thought about that one? I think veganism and drugs go hand in hand for sure. I wonder what percentage of vegans are on like pharmaceutical drugs. It's crazy. Get to the vegan choppa. Get to the choppa. Yeah, he's so brainwashed. It's sad thinking he once ate raw eggs, steaks, and was considered the epitome of masculinity. It's crazy, dude. That's how much masculinity, and especially like white male masculinity, is under attack nowadays. That they've even taken down Arnold Schwarzenegger, dude. That's wild. That's freaking wild. Get your ass to Mars. Can't feed my dogs pork. They get really sick. Interesting. Or imagine taking health advice from someone who ate Dianabolic Skittles. Yeah, is that what he took? Yo, Wes, what do you think of all this space exploration madness? I used to think it was really cool until I woke up to all the scams of the world and how everybody's lives are so messed up here on Earth, but they want to worry about going to space. It's crazy, dude. Doesn't make much sense. Get your life in order here. We're in paradise right now. You know what I mean? We're literally in paradise. We have oceans and beautiful animals and beautiful women and men, and we have trees that grow fruit. We have cows and animals that provide you food. We have tropical islands and boats. Why would you want to go into space? You know what I'm saying? It seems inverted. Like, nah, man, the world's going to hell. We need to fly into space and explore, find some new territory. We need to get out there. We need to go to Mars, man. I was all for going to Mars probably like 10 years ago. It was crazy. I remember actually promoting it and everything. And now that I've woken up, thank God. Thank God I woke up, man. I'm a completely different person. And thank God I didn't make any drastic life decisions when I was asleep or in my fallen state, because I would not be able to do this shit right now, this live stream and stuff. Only reason I can do this diet, this live stream and all this stuff, is because I made some terrible decisions in my 20s, but I didn't make the same decisions a lot of my friends did, you know, and I didn't have like a bunch of kids out of wedlock and stuff like that. I was really lucky not to, because I was definitely a little promiscuous in my 20s, but yeah, I didn't end up having kids, and you know, I didn't jump into some wild career. I just kind of did what I wanted every day. You know what I mean? Kind of just lived in the moment, and that's what I'm able to do. What I am today, for sure. Water and drugs, yeah, definitely. Arnold still eats meat. He's just spewing globalist propaganda. Yeah, he's riding 2 horses, dude. It's the weakest thing I've ever seen. Welcome to the Toxic Masculinity Diet live stream. Exactly. Yeah, I used to think it was really cool too. I high-key feel sad for these space fanatics. Yeah, it's kind of weak, isn't it? Space is barren. Exactly. There's nothing out there but rocks and no air. We're obviously not supposed to be there. I mean, if anything, go check out the ocean. You know what I mean? The ocean's pretty cool, but even that's kind of weird. I have a lot of friends that are Elon Musk fanatics. That's definitely gamma. That's some gamma shit. Wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the fake cringy vegan what I eat in a day video creators smoke pot and they're taking antidepressants or benzos. Oh yeah, all day. All freaking day, man. Drink alcohol. You didn't wake up, God woke you up, that's for sure. Everyone smokes weed and takes meds, it's so pathetic. It definitely does. Yeah. Do you work? Yes, I do. And yeah, I do work, for sure. Fat Atlanta says, get a job. That's right. There are some little Wes's running around there. Hopefully not, dude. They need their dad, if so. But you never know. You never frickin' know. I can't work and be a slave. I just hunt and fish. That's nice. It's kind of hard to do that and pay rent some days, but, you know. Do you drink water? Yes, I drink water, especially now that I quit drinking milk. I didn't hardly drink any water when I drank milk, but now that I quit drinking milk, I drink about probably like 18 ounces of water a day, if not more. If not more, like 24 ounces. Get out your mama's basement. Exactly. Yeah, the ocean seems cool, man. What do you think of video games? Oh, they're such a trap, dude. Dude, I was like the biggest addict of the game Halo 5. I played the shit out of Halo 5, dude. I was like really good at it. I was obsessed with it. I was playing like 6-8 hours, if not more, a day. It was nuts. It was getting out of control. And so I ended up quitting. Just because I saw it as like a, I started seeing it as like a fantasy world. I was like, why am I getting into this like fantasy world? It's not really the real world. You know, what's weird is I didn't really get into video games as much until I was into my 30s. I played a little bit in my 20s and when I was a kid and stuff, you know what I mean? But I never got like obsessed with it until I got into my 30s. It was weird. And so I think that's why, you know, I've decided now that I want to start like a family and stuff like that, because I noticed that I think actually Milo Yiannopoulos made this quote, but he said that when women get into their 30s and they don't have children, they tend to become like miserable. But when men get into their 30s and they don't have children, they just play video games. You know what I mean? It's like not that big of a deal to us. Like we don't have as much of a drive to have children as women do. So we just play video games and we're fine. But that's kind of where I saw myself heading, man, to be honest with you. I was like, I'm in my 30s, I'm playing too much Halo 5. And I was like, I could hear like other people talking on on the games, you know, and it was like little kids. And I thought I was like all good at Halo 5, like beating everybody's ass. But I was like, I'm just kicking little like 10-year-olds' asses every day. Like that's not really, that's not really something to be proud of. So I quit, man. I quit video games one day. I actually broke my Halo disc in half, so I would never go back to it, and I just quit. That's how I quit shit, man. Why'd you quit milk? I noticed it was dragging my energy down a little bit, so I'm going off it for a while. Do you think women do better on carbs and men do better on high fat? I'm not sure, man. I don't think we're that much different. We probably would do the same on similar diets. Video games simulate killing. That's right. They do simulate killing. Luckily, my grandparents had freehold home and land, so I have the luxury of not having to pay anything to live. That's nice, dude. That's kind of the way it should be, to be honest with you. Everything should be passed down. Unpopular opinion, but those little gammas sitting in their mom's basements, unemployed, living off the government, can go off themselves for like a useless society. There's a lot of them, too. Half these vegans are on Adderall and Prozac. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You give anybody enough Adderall, they don't have to eat shit, you know? Is there any way to see the entire chat? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Do you think there would be a war on cops, race war within our lifetime? Sometimes something in my gut says just be prepared. I don't think there's going to be a war on cops. I think what's going to happen is like white males are not going to want to be cops anymore because it's all getting so corrupted. And everything is skewed against basically white male cops nowadays. So there's going to be a lot more like black cops and female cops. And that's where everything's going to get really fucked up. Race war, we're already kind of in the race war. I don't know if it's going to be a physical war, but it's definitely, it's a spiritual war that's going on right now. Pot plus video games plus porn equals death trap for men. Absolutely. Don't forget to sprinkle junk food in there. Grayson Wing, do you play that keyboard? What songs do you know? Yeah, not as much as I used to, but I use it to produce like electronic music and stuff, little beats here and then. But it's been a long time since I used it, and it connects to my computer, so I can't really turn it on right now. But I don't really know that many songs. I just know a few songs. I can kind of just work my way around it and like play some chords and harmonies and stuff like that. Just real basic stuff. I'm more better at like arranging music and mastering music and stuff like that. Working with like Reason software. Doing sound experimentation. Halo 3 was fun, for sure. Kicking those little gamma bitches' asses, exactly. Said you quit milk, what is your main source of hydration? Eggs and fruit? Yeah, basically eggs, fruit, and water. And raw meat, because it's got some water in it. My son's addicted to gaming. I was thinking to set him up on YouTube and streaming, but still balance him out with a lot of outdoor stuff. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. The reduced energy you were feeling from milk is probably due to the casomorphins, basically natural opiates occurring in dairy. You might be right. Yeah. Yeah, I was just dragging my energy down, and I stopped craving it. What do you think the world will be like in the next 5 years? Similar? It's hard to say, man. It's hard to predict. But yeah, it's hard to say because it evolves so rapidly, you know? It'll continue going in the same direction in many ways, you know? If you look at like the patterns of history and stuff like that, you can kind of predict what's going to happen. like economic wise, like you can make economic predictions like pretty dead on target. Like Vox Day opened up my eyes to this big time. He makes predictions about the economy that are like dead on, dude. He predicts economic collapses. He predicted the economic collapse of this year. He also predicted the one that happened back when Obama was president. He just understands how these things work. He sees how money works. He sees how it's all fake, and how, you know, the housing situations affect the economy and stuff like that. It's all really interesting, man. It's basically like economics I've found recently to be really fascinating, because like it works like this. Like, let's say if someone's selling a house, right? Let's say I'm selling my house for $100,000, and some guy comes to me with $100,000 cash, right? And he says, I want to buy your house, right? But let's say this other guy goes to the bank and he gets a loan for $150,000, right? And then he brings that money to me and he goes, I got $150,000 for your house. Will you sell me your house? So now my house is worth $150,000, but it's just because the bank loaned him that money. It's not actually real money, you know? And so then it artificially, like bank loans artificially inflate the prices of everything in that way. Because my house is only worth $100,000. But because the bank is willing to loan you $150,000 that you don't have, all of a sudden my house is worth $150,000. So if you can extrapolate that into every situation in the world, that's why all the prices are so inflated. And that's how the banking system screws up everything, is because they artificially inflate the prices of everything. And so what happens is it eventually collapses because it's all fake money. And eventually it just drives all of the prices down because the banks stop willing to give loans. And then it drives all the prices down of the houses, and everything just kind of bottoms out. It's so weird. But you see these like patterns that happen like that, where everything kind of inflates, deflates, inflates, deflates. And so the only like prediction I can make economic wise would be we're going to be heading into like a recession here in the next like year or two, and then hopefully coming out of it over the next couple years after that. Sev Colham says, I don't understand economics and money. Watch Vox Day, man. Vox Day is like really good at explaining economics. It's actually pretty easy, dude. It's just like I explained it. It's all just fake. All the money is fake. Like loans, that's fake money because no one actually gave you like the money. It's weird. Yeah, they print money based on thin air. Yeah, exactly. It's not really based on anything. Dude, stop repeating Vox. It's pretty cringe. It's true for the most part. Yeah, we all know this. It's not a revaluation. Stop repeating Vox. Okay. How about that one? Sev Colham says the only money that exists is people's energy. True. Or what you can offer. Like what kind of services you can offer. Danny B, do you think there is any other way to be healthy besides raw meat? Yeah, I mean, spiritually healthy is the way to be, because we're spirits fundamentally. Like, this whole body is an illusion. You got to keep it healthy in order to keep your spirit healthy. But a lot of people focus on the physical body, on getting the physical body healthy. And they ignore the fact that we're spirits, you know? So you got to not be angry. You got to drop your anger. You got to forgive anyone that's ever like betrayed you. All this stuff that a lot of people have a hard time dealing with nowadays, and they carry it with them. Because like anger is toxic, man. Like anger is like something that like destroys your body, you know? So you don't want to carry that around with you. And a lot of people don't see the connection between like spiritual issues and disease. If you notice, a lot of people that are on these like really weird diets have a lot of like family trauma and shit like that they're dealing with. It's a weird connection. You got to look into that. Jonathan Pernice says, home has to be appraised. I've seen prices increase because shady appraisers, amongst other reasons. OG Reinhardt says, I wonder who's doing that. I don't know, maybe the Jews? Jonathan Pernice says, I saw a bunch of shady real estate agents and investors make millions off the collapse of '06. Went someone to jail, some got away. Yeah. My grandpa got chipped out of like 200 grand on a retirement thing. Someone cooked the books like Enron did and stuff, and he lost like 200 G's. Stress will kill you faster than an all pep student soy diet. Exactly, guys. Exactly. That's the point. Have you ever seen like a really fat, old, jolly, like rich dude? And you're like, how does this guy not die of like a heart attack? Why is he so happy? He's so fat and he eats so much food. It's because he's stress free, dude. He's got so much money. He's just living the life. Got a family. He doesn't have to go on a freaking Aajonus Planet's raw meat diet to be a happy person. You know, being spiritually healthy is arguably more important than being physically healthy. I mean, it's like the source. You want to go to the source first. You know what I mean? But a lot of us are like damaged directly by like vaccines and like chemicals and stuff like that. Now that's something that you have to address through the raw primal diet, and you have to detox that shit out of your system. And I think that's ultimately what the raw primal diet is for detoxing chemicals and vaccines out of your system. It's also the healthiest diet you can be on, but you can also be extremely healthy not being on the raw primal diet. You know what I mean? Because you're spiritually healthy and you're just eating, you know, you're not eating like junk food all day. You know what I'm saying? So you shouldn't go around like pushing this diet on everybody and being like, this is the only way you can be healthy, man. Because it's not necessarily true. It's really the only way you can detox your body completely of chemicals and vaccines and stuff like that. But it's not the only way to be healthy. It's not the only form of health. You know, there's spiritual health and stuff. Mental damage is physical damage. Yeah. Temporary says, better go out, watch out saying their name in an accusatory manner. Good way to get the channel axed. Yeah, I know. They know I'm joking. You guys know I'm joking, right? My mom's a doctor. She's probably going to force me to take the vaccine. Definitely don't take it, man. Do not take it. Bates says, raw grass-fed beef fat is the king of all organs. I agree. Organs? That's not an organ, is it? Fat is great. No, it's not all mental, because you're not your brain, man. Your brain is just an organ that operates in your body. You know what I'm saying? You're something more than your body. Yeah, I know. They know I'm joking. Yeah, I don't deny the fact that there's evil Jewish people. There's evil Jewish people in control of the media. I'm not afraid to talk about it. I'm not a shill for the Jews or anything like that. That's not the point. The point of my posts that I made on my community channel were that I like Trump as a man. I'm not even into politics or religion. I'm not even into that stuff because I think it's all bullshit. But I like Trump as a man. I like him as a leader. You know what I mean? And everybody took that as I'm a shill for the Jews, and like all the gammas got into all of the political stuff. They tried to drop a bunch of so-called knowledge and intellect and wokeness, and it's all just talk about cringe. It's all super cringy. So I recognize we're in a spiritual war, and our man Trump is fighting the war in a spiritual manner. He represents the right type of spirit that men need to possess, and that's speak the truth no matter what, and hack your enemies down as quick as they come up, man. Was human intelligence our original sin? No, being born into sin means that you're born into bad parents. So we become fallen or full of original sin by our parents corrupting us. That's what that means. Basically, we're born perfect, and if you have perfect parents, then you'll never become fallen, is basically the idea. But you are not your thoughts, exactly. Old people are definitely hard to wake up. Consciousness is mental, meaning spiritual, not your physical brain. That makes sense, yeah. A lot of people do, a lot of people think that we are our brains, what you are is your brain. It's crazy. Jeff says, and the word virus is also Latin, which means poison, but has an alternate meaning of animal semen. That's interesting. Huh. Trump is an alpha male, exactly. At its very simplest explanation, that's what we need. That's what we need as a leader, is an alpha male. And if you're a woman, not all women, but most women today, especially, real women understand that an alpha male needs to be leader. But most women today are not real women. They're corrupted, just like most men. See, I'm not a misogynist. See, you tried to get me. Most men are just as messed up as most women today. And they don't recognize that you need an alpha male as a leader, And a lot of low status males, they hate to recognize the alpha male because they have no, they're submissive below him, especially gammas and omegas. But usually like betas and deltas and sigmas have no problems recognizing alpha. It's just the lower status ones, I like how children just look straight into your soul. They're looking at your spirit, dude. That's exactly what it is. All right, fat of the land. See you later, man. You're over there in the UK, right? It's probably getting a little late. There's more gammas than ever before. It's amazing. It is amazing, man. Yeah, women are really messed up today. Especially like all the liberal women, but that's ultimately at fault because the men have become weak. So the men have become weakened, which is the objective of evil, is to weaken the males so they can take over the females and the children. And that's exactly what you're seeing happening, is that all of the males are becoming weakened and turned into gammas and omegas. And so now the women are responding to that. They're unhappy because the men aren't being strong men. I mean, it totally makes sense. It basically all falls back on the man, Almost every office or clinic I've worked in is run by alpha posing females, and it's weird. Yeah, man, that's not good. Yeah, even females don't like working for other females. They prefer to work for men. Can you expand on why we are not our thoughts? Where do they come from? That's a great question. Nobody knows. They probably come from Satan. Jesse Peterson says thoughts come from Satan, and it kind of makes sense because God speaks to you in Revelations. It's like a quiet voice. It's a silent voice. Satan speaks to you in words in your brain. And anybody that's ever had like bad thoughts thrown through their mind knows what I'm talking about. That's the devil, dude. Anytime you're getting fear, doubt, and worry and stuff like that inside your brain. I don't think I need that light on, do I? That's the devil. And a lot of people think they're talking to God in their brain through that voice that they're hearing, like they're having a conversation with God. That's not God, man. God speaks to you in very, very silent revelations, like aha moments, like holy shit, now I get it. That's God speaking to you right there. John Trim says, yes, I've always said this. Women are this way because males are feminized, not the other way around. Exactly. Yes. Any man that blames women for all the problems in the world has issues with his mother and is 100% a gamma male, for sure. No real man is going to hate women. Real men love women by telling them the truth, being logical with them, being rational, guiding them in the right direction, you know. Hating women is not the way to do it, you know. Like this whole MGTOW movement and all this stuff, that is not the way to go around treating women, man. It's missing the point, you know what I mean? You're missing the spiritual battle. Just like Black Lives Matter is missing the spiritual battle, you know what I mean? Like they're thinking white people are all trying to go around and kill black people. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, dude. And a lot of people know what I'm talking about. I drove by a Black Lives Matter protest the other day and yelled boo out my window really loud and gave them a thumbs down. I let them know how stupid they were, dude. Because it's dumb. Black Lives Matter except for abortions, right? Except for the 90 million abortions of black babies every year. How come you guys don't protest that? Black Lives Matter except for 35 people getting shot in Chicago on the weekend by black dudes. How come you guys don't protest Chicago? No? But one white cop who was kind of a piece of shit kills a black dude, and you have riots all over the city, all over the country. It's so stupid, dude. It's so stupid. When you see it, you see it. You know what I mean? Like me, I didn't see this stuff like 3-4 years ago. Thank God. I woke up to it. But a lot of people don't see it, man. They think we're in some kind of race war, and it's all media manipulation. It's all being created by the media. It's crazy, dude. If you think eating brains and ball diet could transcend games up the system of alpha, beta, etc., it would definitely help in some hormonal imbalances and stuff like that, but generally your behavior patterns are almost impossible to change. If you ever notice that about yourself, you can't change yourself, you know what I mean? You can make small adjustments over time and hopefully that builds up into something later on, but it's almost impossible to change who you are. You just are who you are. You've been created that way by God. And so, yeah, generally, I think it's very possible for maybe a gamma to work up to like a strong delta, you know, which is like you're in the middle, working male, you know what I mean, average man. But I doubt that a gamma could work his way up to like a beta or an alpha. Yeah, look up the social sexual hierarchy by Vox Day, Sev, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's on YouTube. Look up Vox Day, Voxiversity, and type in gamma, alpha, omega, and it'll pop up the videos, and you can watch some videos on it. They're really cool explanations, but it's just the hierarchy of men. It's the order of men, you know. Everything mainstream is to ruin the soul. Yeah, and everything of this world is designed to drive you crazy. That's the other thing. That's why you got to ignore all this worldly stuff. Be of the world, but not in it. Or no, be in the world, but not of the world. All over the world, these protests are happening. That's crazy. Maven said a protester said I had white privilege, no, the luxury I have I earned, and I have inherited wealth. That's crazy, dude. So this is how ridiculous the Black Lives Matter shit is, guys. So there's many, many, many thousands and probably not millions of black people that don't believe in white privilege. Did you guys know that? No, they don't tell you that because the media tells you the opposite because they want to string your emotions. There's plenty of black people that don't buy into white privilege. And so when you have a white person telling a black person, I have white privilege, and the black person goes, no, you don't. Just because of your skin color, you don't have white privilege over me just because of your skin color. And the white privileged person goes, yes, I do. I have to educate you on this, right? That's slave master talk, man. That's total slave master shit. You ever think about that? That's a white person telling a black person that they have white privilege over them because of their skin color. You guys see how twisted this is? It's so messed up. When you look at it from a perspective of a black, like a real black person that actually sees through the white privilege bullshit, it's really offensive. It's extremely offensive. But when you string it through the media and you make it look like there's all these poor black people that are like, you know, mad at the white people and stuff like that, it looks different. But when you face an actual real black person of God that knows the truth and says, no, you're not privileged over me because of your skin color. You may be privileged over me because of your character, but not your skin color. You know, because that's like some slave master talk. It's messed up, dude. So messed up. What's the benefit of any social media? Just getting the truth out, basically. That's basically what I'm doing with this YouTube thing, and that's the only social media I have. I don't have like a personal, like Facebook anymore. That shit's so gay. Temporary says that we need to start calling white Black Lives Matter protesters Masta in light of what you just said. Exactly, man. It's so stupid. It's ridiculous, guys. What it is it's a power grab. It's a bunch of people that just want to take the land from the white people and take all their money and shit. That's all this media stuff is about. It's a power grab. There's no truth in it. Do you think the sun is God? I doubt it. I doubt it. But it's definitely close to God, that's for sure. But it's a material thing. God's not a material. He's a spirit. What's a gamma? I'm new to this term. It's a low status male. Yeah, I do have Instagram. It's just because of this channel, so I could help grow this channel. It's the only reason I started that Instagram. But it's all food related. It's not me like, what's up? Like, you know, yo, check me out. Everybody look at me. It's about nutrition and stuff like that, you know. Thanks for the super chat, Dell. I love your channel, man. Just got off of work. Sweet. Appreciate that. It's very generous. Glad you're digging it. That was good timing too. My black homie. My black homie chimes in. See? There's a lot of woke black people out there, guys, that don't believe in this shit. What's up, T. Moeller? Some of the protesters have received compensation from specific sources. Yep. George Soros, specifically. Yeah, there's millions of dollars being pumped into these protests, guys. And it's all... There's two things it's trying to do. One is it's trying to keep Donald Trump from being reelected in November. And two, it's for a power grab. It's for a land and money grab. That's all these people on the left, all these liberals and Democrats, that's all they want, is they want the power and the land and the money of the white man. That's all they want. And so they're making up all this shit about white privilege and racism and all this stuff because they just want our money and our land. It's ridiculous. That was like perfect timing for that super chat, dude. That was great. Like, see, I'm not a white supremacist. I got black homies. I've always had black homies, man. One of my best friends for like over 10 years, we used to hang out like every day as black. You know what I mean? I had black friends all the way back to elementary school, junior high. I've had at least half a dozen pretty close black friends. You know what I mean? Which is kind of a lot for a white dude. There's some white people that don't know any black people, but I've never been, that's why I don't believe in racism at all, because I know what a pure spirit is, you know what I mean? And it's just, you like people for who they are. It's not anything about color. How can people protect their land then? Well, guns, for sure. It's a good start. Guns and, yeah, I mean, and try to speak the truth, try to fight the spiritual war that we're in, you know, like doing what I'm doing, and basically just speak out about what's going on, speak out about the evil in the world, let people know what it is, explain it to people that don't understand it, and hopefully wake some people up in the meantime, you know, and you can help kind of sort of win that war spiritually. But the key is not being afraid and not letting the media or the news and what they're showing on the news affect you emotionally. That's where they have you defeated, is when they have affected you emotionally, you know, by showing, you know, a picture of a white cop like stepping on a black dude's neck and then he dies, and then all of a sudden they're like, yep, see, right here, white supremacy, perfect example. And then all of a sudden it triggers all these emotional, visceral reactions in people, and it creates these riots and shit. But if you look at the whole story and you don't just look at that one video clip, and you look at the entire story and you go, okay, how often is this really happening, right? And then you go, how often are black people actually shooting other black people, right? And it's happening so much more often with black people shooting black people than white people killing black people. It's like 1,000 more % that black people kill black people. And so then you start asking the question, well, then why don't they start protesting black on black crime? If in abortion, if that's killing more black people than the cops are, then why aren't they protesting that? That's going to save more lives, right? And so this whole Black Lives Matter thing is bullshit, because black lives do not matter to them at all. They're not protecting aborted babies, and they're not protecting inner city blacks from getting shot from gang members and stuff like that. They're not, you know, they're not seeking God and doing all the right things that God wants us to do in order to avoid violence and abortion and stuff like that. They're just living their lives how they want to live. And then the one time a white dude kills one of their so-called people, they react like this. And so it's all an illusion. It's all an extreme illusion, like most of the world. Sand says, hey Wes, hope all is well with you. Wanted to ask you, what's the name of the farm where you buy beef testicles and brain? I don't know if I want to give my source out because it's such a good hookup, dude. You're going to have to look around. It's such a good hookup, dude, that I'm afraid to like say this stuff on live stream, because I'm afraid that everybody's going to go start like taking all my supply. So I'm sorry if that sounds selfish, but it's out there. You're going to have to do your own research, and if you're in my area, you'll definitely find it. George Floyd was a criminal. Look it up. Yeah, he was a total criminal. And there's also a video of George Floyd talking about how the black youths today are all messed up because they're all violent. It's crazy. Dell says, so if institutional racism really existed to the extent blacks claim no immigrants from Africa and et cetera could move up the economic financial ladder, it's all lies and distorted information. Exactly. There would be no such thing as a LeBron James, dude. A guy that had like $80 million when he was like 18. Come on. If there was institutional racism against black people, do you think LeBron James would be a thing? And so this guy's got like 5 different houses and like, you know, millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank, and he wants to complain about white people? It's so retarded, dude. These guys all get like rich off of white people, and then they want to like turn their back on them eventually. It's nuts, dude. But yeah, it's such a great point, Del. There's so many black people, black millionaires, there's black billionaires, I believe. That wouldn't happen if there was institutional racism. That's a buzzword. That's called a spell. They're putting a spell on you with that word. Yeah, but then you're asking people to think. Yeah, you got to be a free thinker, man. He's been in and out of prison for sure, dude. Yeah. George Floyd case was fake. There's a recent case of a black officer killed by a black person. The media hardly covers it. White on black crime, the media loves it. Dude, more people have died from the riots and protests than died from the actual George Floyd murder. One person died in the George Floyd murder. There's been more people killed in the riots, dude. And they're not protesting that, right? I think there's more black people that have died in the riots than George Floyd. Not only that, but the interracial crime rates towards whites by blacks is higher than whites towards blacks. It's a tense subject to talk about living in a multiracial country. Yeah, I know. It's all, but people operate by their emotions. They don't operate by by facts and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And they're not ready to face. See, the thing is like, most black people today aren't ready to face the truth. And the truth is that the reason that their communities are degenerated is because there's no fathers in the home, and over 70% of the women have babies out of wedlock. And so when you raise children in that situation, not being married, having no fathers, you're creating a violent situation from the get-go, and you're not living within God's will, you know? But they're not willing to look at themselves and not willing to see that. They would rather blame it on somebody else, you know what I mean? That's pretty much what it comes down to. And I don't hate them for it, but it's the truth, you know? Interesting. Floyd is related to Masons. That's nuts. Lil Wayne is pretty based when asked about Black Lives Matter. He is, dude. That's a good point. Someone sent me that the other day. I think Chicken Jar sent me that. Let's read that real quick. That's a good one.
Hip hop star.
Yeah, here we go. Let's see.
Lil Wayne doesn't ordinarily give interviews, but Nightline's no ordinary broadcast. A controversial encounter with the rapper is already getting major attention on Twitter. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lil Wayne.
He's a rapper whose lifestyle has all the trappings of a bona fide rock star.
I'm gonna marry him.
He's my idol.
Wayne changed my life with his music.
Over the past 3 years, Nightline has been granted rare access to the reclusive hip-hop icon, Lil Wayne.
I'm a slave for your ear. I'll die to make what you hear great.
Lil Wayne has been making music for nearly 25 years, with hits like Lollipop, a mogul discovering megastars like Nicki Minaj and Drake. Lil Wayne, born Dwayne Carter, was first discovered by New Orleans rapper Birdman, who quickly signed him to his record label, Cash Money. Wayne's first taste of mainstream success came with his electric verse on Juvenile's Back That Thing Up. His lyrics are crafty and calculating, yet raw and explicit.
I know how difficult it was to watch us come up with our pants sagging and our shirts all big and bandanas on and rapping street things and talking about guns. And every verse was about how I would run in your house and tie your parents up or something like that. And I sold over 1 million records in a heartbeat. It was about lyrics. It was just about, it wasn't about what you were talking about, it was about how you was talking about it.
What do you say to people who call your music vulgar, misogynistic, offensive, degrading?
No, if that's what you think about the music, if that's what you categorize it under, then so be it. All those things made me who I am, and I am a very successful man. Please keep looking out for more, because it's coming, baby.
So your daughter, would you have any problem with her being called a or a hoe?
Yeah, if they calling her a hoe, I have a huge problem with that. Yeah, but I've never called a certain female name out, unless I got a real big problem with her. Yeah.
To say this father of four is controversial is an understatement, but the self-described gangster says he's often misunderstood.
That'll be the biggest misconception, that I'm some kind of rude. I don't know. And when they meet me, they're like, oh, you're so humble or whatever. But I'm from the South. I have to be respectful and everything like that because I have someone to answer to, and that's my mom.
But Wayne doesn't really care what we think about him. He's unapologetic in just about every aspect of his life.
What's your relationship with weed? Every day?
There's God, there's my family, there's my kids, there's music and weed.
In that order?
Yeah.
Our journey with Wheezy started back in 2013 at his own private skate park he constructed in Miami. He spent at Rikers Island for an illegal weapon possession.
When you look back at prison, has it been?
All on the same level. You're all going through the same thing. Everybody wants to go home.
But outside of a jail cell, his celebrity status recently stirring controversy on Fox Sports when he said he personally doesn't see racism because so many of his fans are white.
I thought that was clearly a message that there was no such thing as racism.
There was a lot of backlash from people about that. Would you change it, what you said, or
No,
you
not
still
at
feel the
all.
same way? What's your thought on Black Lives Matter?
What is it? What do you mean?
The idea was that there's this movement called Black Lives Matter, thinking that the rest of America didn't seem to understand that Black Lives Matter.
It just sounds weird. I didn't know that you put a name on it. It's not a name, it's not whatever. It's somebody got shot by police and for up reason. I am a young, black, rich. If that don't let you know that America understands Black matter these days, I don't know what it is. Don't come at me with that dumb man. My life matter, especially to my.
There you go. I remember that shit from a few years ago. Yeah, I remember that shit from a few years ago, but I forgot about that actually. But he's made a lot of statements like that, man. That's coming from a black rapper, dude. Oh, man. Yeah, he's based, bro. His mind is opened up. He's a free thinker. Lil Wayne is a very unique free thinking dude. If you ever saw like the rap that he put out like about 15 years ago-ish, around there, 15 to 20 years ago, the rap he was putting out, it was so different than what everybody else is putting out, and just you can tell the way his brain works is very different than everybody else's. So it's no surprise he has like a free thinking view on the world. You know what I mean? He admitted he is a slave, exactly. He said, I'm a slave to your ear. Racism exists, but is not the white man's fault. No, it's not, but it's not racism, Del. You got to study Jesse Peterson. It's not actually racism. That's a fake term made up by the media. It's actually, there's just people that do wrong things. You know what I'm saying? But there's no like instinct in people to go out and like hate other people of different colors. That's not a real thing. There's just evil people. You know, there's people that do, there's right and there's wrong. That's all there is. When you start dividing it up into racism and homophobicism and like Jesse Peterson says, like Islamophobicism and all this shit, you're getting into all this media hogwash that's been made up. But when you go up for those branches a little bit, at the top there, you just have right and wrong. And that's what's really going on. When you look at the broad picture, it's right and wrong, you know? Father of four, is he married? That's a good question. Yeah, his voice is crackly. I think opioids do that to you. But anyways, I'm about 2 hours, guys. I'm about to wrap it up. I know there's a lot of people here too, but I'm about to end the stream here. So that was a good conversation. Touched on some good subjects. Appreciate y'all chiming in. Thanks for the super chat, Dell. And God bless y'all. Keep eating raw meat. How can you prove objective right and wrong? Read a couple books on. There's some good philosophy books on that. If you read Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis, he goes into that. But it's basically there's a drive in everybody to do right, and when you do wrong, you have like an instinctual feeling that happens, and that's basically what drives people to do right, is that feeling that makes you not want to do wrong. And so that just proves that there's like a universal moral